Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to tap into your power to manifest the happiness, success, and fulfillment that you desire. I am your host, Niajae, the Upper Limit Coach. I am here to dismantle your limiting beliefs and remove the blocks so you can confidently live your life's purpose, because life is meant to be abundant. Hey, M&Ms, thank you for listening or watching the Abundance Hack Podcast. I am here with the beautiful Taliah in her belly dance studio, and before we get into her story, first I want to ask you, what does abundance mean to you?
Abundance to me means finding fulfillment through empowering other people. So, yeah.
All right, so tell us about you. Who is Taliah?
Taliah, I am a professional belly dancer. I initially started belly dancing to come out of some traumatic experiences that I had in my past, and I found it to be very empowering. It gave me a voice without having to use my actual voice. I could share my story through my dancing, and it ended up becoming a passion of mine. I didn't expect for it to take off the way that it did, and this is about 10 or 11 years ago. So I actually started dancing, and then it kind of became my obsession and my passion. And as I continued to dance, I got better and better at it. It became something of a discipline for me in my life. And then after several years of training, I decided I was ready to teach a class because I wanted other women to experience what I experienced through belly dancing, which is a lot of healing, and it was almost therapeutic in a way. So I started a class, and I had just a few people show up, and I thought, uh-oh, what if this isn't right? I only have a few people. Within about 6 months, I had 20 students. Within a year, I had 50 students. And 3 years later, I grew so large in numbers that I had to open my own studio dedicated to belly dance, which is just super exciting, and that's where we're at today.
I love it. So, all right, let's back up a little bit. So I know you said you went through some traumatic things.
Yes.
So do you want to share like maybe one challenging thing that you experienced and how you came over it?
I actually spent all of my 20s living overseas. Mm-hmm. So I traveled to amazing countries, and I did humanitarian work. Mm-hmm. So it was a very inspiring, very exciting time of my life. But while I was living overseas, I actually went through a very traumatic, life-threatening event.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I came back to the States, and it was a very difficult time for me because I was trying to figure out my identity again, and how does all of this go, and trying to figure out how to heal and work through it. And I tried different things, but nothing was really was helping. And one day I saw an ad in a local flyer saying belly dance classes in the area. So I thought, okay, I think that sounds like something I would be interested in, because movement, dance, music, they're very therapeutic things. And I tried it, and honestly, I can say that 100% dance is what brought me through the trauma. And I even had other challenges come along in life throughout the years, but dance has always been there. And movement and music and all of those things that you feel when you're dancing, it heals, and it helps you cope with whatever life's challenges are at that time.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And I definitely resonate with that, because I opened a studio, and I fell in love with aerials, like
yes.
aerial silks. So when I opened my studio, a lot of my identity was attached to being like a music artist, because I used to sing. And when I decided to hang it up, I'm like, okay, who am I? What am I doing with my life? And, so it wasn't something necessarily traumatic, but I found myself again in art. And it's a really beautiful process. And I think some people are so afraid to like belly dance. There's so many adults that are like, I wish I could do that. I'm like, you can. You can do it.
Absolutely. It's for everyone. One of the things that I love the most about Hypnique, about the studio, is that we have such a diverse student base. It's all ages, backgrounds, shapes, and sizes. And there's something truly beautiful about all of us coming together to dance and express ourselves. I always say that we don't dance here to impress, we dance to express. And that takes the pressure off of competition or performance, so to speak. So we dance here to express, and it has truly brought together an amazing, empowering group. And we just go through life together, dancing together. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you is because you're always so positive and empowering other women, because I think there's a lot of people that say, I empower women, and they kind of don't. They almost empower within a certain box.
Yes, I totally get what you're saying, yes.
So can you speak to that, just like your thoughts on like how women should lift each other up more?
Absolutely. When we come into the studio, the thing that I focus on the most is being who you are, not who anyone else is pressuring you to be. So when you walk in the door of the studio, this is kind of like a sacred space for you to develop your own identity, to express your own feelings. And the way that we emphasize that is all of our instructors, we are warm, we're welcoming, we're accepting, and we're open. There's not just one demographic that we're reaching out to. There's not just one personality type that we're focusing on. Every woman that comes in this studio feels like this is her studio. This is her place. And we're not petty, we're not cliquish, we're not empowering just certain people. We're trying to empower everyone. And it's proven in who attends our classes. Like I said, you'll see people of all different backgrounds, and that speaks for itself. And you mentioned empowering. You know, a lot of women say, oh, I empower other women, but they don't actually. Well, I believe that when you do empower other women, it speaks for itself. You can see it in the lives of the people that you're speaking into. You can see it in the pictures that we take of our classes. You know, we don't hide what we're doing here. We want it to be for everyone.
I love it. So I feel like right now there's a lot of women that don't know their worth, and there's like this kind of like a huge number of women that are lacking confidence and self-esteem. And mostly, you know, social media, you have like all the filters, and you know, everyone wants to look like Kim Kardashian.
Right.
So like what are some tips for a woman to really just like feel confident and just like own like her sexuality, her identity, just like her gifts?
It's a process, and that's what I share with the women that come into the studio. The minute you put parameters on what something should look like, or how you should act, or how you should be, you're limiting yourself. And I watch the women go on a personal journey of exploration and storytelling. A lot of how we find our confidence is through telling our stories. So I give them a space where they can take a song and connect to that emotion of the song and express themselves and share their stories without having to maybe directly share verbatim what they've been through, but they can express it through the emotions and the movement. And as they do that, they discover who they are again or how to have that voice, the confidence grows and it increases. And we'll have women that come to the studio for many different reasons, but the one thing that is the most empowering is that all of these women embark on a journey that helps them gain confidence. I mean, we've had students that are teenagers through, I think my oldest student was 78.
Oh, wow.
And she started at 78, and she danced, and she gained confidence through all of the things that she's been through, and then we have young women gaining confidence in this time of social media and pressure and all of that. So no matter where you're at in your walk of life, when we're here, we're gaining confidence through our journeys and expressing ourselves.
I love it. So I like to ask this question to female entrepreneurs. Yes. Because there's so much pressure on us. Like,
yes,
do you so much? Yeah. Do you believe that you can have it all?
I believe you can have it all.
Yes.
Hands down, no doubts about that. A lot of times women feel that you have to pick one area or you have to pick one path, and that if you pick this path, you can't have all of the other things. It's not true. I feel like I have it all. I feel the abundance because the fulfillment for me comes through empowering others. And when I see them empowered, in return, I'm empowered. It's just kind of this constant inspiration back and forth. I'm a mom. My daughter turns 10 next month, and a lot of people are like, wow, how do you run a studio? You know, you're dancing all the time. I perform, all over the area. There's a lot of pressure running the studio, maintaining the studio, my family life at home, with my husband and with my daughter. It's a lot to juggle, but you can have it all, and it works really well when you create a plan of how to encompass everything instead of just focusing on one thing. So it's a little bit of a discipline. I have to set aside time for certain things and plan my time accordingly, but you can have it all. You just have to work for it and be willing to put in the time.
Yeah.
Is imposter syndrome holding you back from taking your business or life to the next level? Is your upper limit preventing you from achieving the success you truly desire and deserve? Because you do deserve an abundant life. Go to Niajae.com/transcend to register for my exclusive masterclass, Transcend Your Upper Limits. Learn how to navigate through the hurdles on the way to the success, the happiness, and the fulfillment you desire. That's Niajae.com/transcend, Niajae.com. It's time to transcend your upper limit.
So for anyone who is a mom or a wife and she is considering starting a business, so like what are some tips to manage it all? Because it is a lot to juggle.
Definitely. Tips to managing and starting a new business. Organization is key. I have a very creative-based job where I'm dancing, I'm creating, I'm choreographing, yet I still have to be very organized. I have to set aside certain times of the day to do certain things. And a lot of people think, well, when I run a business, I can just figure it out as I go along. And unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way. You have to actually set aside time to work on the marketing, to work on the maintaining of the business, to work on the finances, all of those things. So I would recommend creating a routine, sticking with it, and then adjusting as necessary. But definitely don't let your business run you. Yes. You need to run your business.
Yes. That's huge. And how long have you been here? Like your studio?
I have owned a studio since 2014, so 5 years. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you said routine. So what is like your morning routine or self-care routine?
Two different things for me. My morning routine, I wake up early and I do all of my social media marketing. So morning first thing, create my class flyers and online postings and my Instagram and everything like that, Facebook. And then I take my daughter to school, and then I begin the heart of the studio, which is keeping everything organized, maintaining relationships with my instructors, cleaning, taking care of the maintenance issues with the studio, all of the things that make up the framework of the studio. And then in the evenings, I teach pretty much almost every evening, and I perform almost every weekend. So after working, I go to work. It's just one thing, one phase at a time. And then I do my dancing and I teach my classes, and then I do it all again the next day. My self-care time is setting aside times throughout the month based on my family schedules and things like that to say, okay, this day, it happens to be this week of Friday maybe, I'm not going to do anything related to my business. I'm going to take it easy, I'm going to go to the beach, I'm going to shut out the world, restore, renew, refresh, and then start all over again.
Yeah, I love it. So what is one way, because I know one thing a lot of women struggle with is holding on to their identities. So
Yes.
they become a mom, or they become a wife, or they become a business owner, and they lose sight of like themselves without those titles. So how would you say like you held on to like who Taliah is? So like if you take all of that away, like what do you still like to do, or like what are you still about, like your mission, or just anything like that?
I make sure that I always find time to go back to what initially made me fall in love with this art form of belly dance. If it's late at night at the studio after classes, or maybe a free couple of hours pop up, I come to the studio, I turn the lights off, it's usually at night, and I put on my favorite music and I just dance. I dance until I've had enough. I dance until I've felt connected, until I feel renewed, and I feel like this is Taliah, this is me, I'm tapping into me underneath all of the hats that I'm wearing on a daily basis. And I can sometimes sit here until midnight and just dancing and listening to music and expressing myself. And to me, that's what keeps me balanced, and it helps me maintain my identity without feeling lost.
Yeah, oh my God, I love that so much. And I've actually reminded myself recently, like I need to dance again, because dance was like my first love. Dance was my first love, and I've lost sight of that, you know. I get so busy, but like now, like when I do find time to dance, I'm just like,
I totally get it.
So I highly encourage anyone, like if you are just on the fence about taking a dance class, especially a belly dance class, definitely do it. I feel like movement is such a great way to express yourself. So if you're on the fence, just do it.
Definitely, yes. Don't hesitate. Just try it.
Okay, so what are 3 tips for living an abundant life?
Living an abundant life. I would say the first one is connecting with others. I find a lot of fulfillment and abundance through my relationships with others. Whether it's a close friend or family or my students, definitely not becoming so wrapped up in myself, but making sure I maintain connections with others. Another thing would be focusing on some me time, making sure that I don't get completely burn out. I can't be abundant or live an abundant life or share abundance with others if I'm depleted. So definitely the self-care, the me time, the connection with myself is important. And living an abundant life, making sure that you tune out those who are negative, not fostering a negative environment, not feeding into it. It's a lot easier said than done, but a lot of what I do to be successful is filtering. I filter out the negativity. I've been told so many times throughout the years, oh, you'll never make it, or you don't have what it takes, and it has only fueled me, and I can honestly say that for every negative thing that I've heard, I've completely turned it back around into abundance, and it speaks for itself, and I love that, and I try to make it a goal to eliminate that negativity through my success.
I love that. Can we expand on that a little bit?
Sure.
Because I think that there's so many people in life that people are telling them they can't do something, and sometimes it's their own limiting beliefs telling them that they can't do it. So what would you say to someone who is experiencing that? And honestly, sometimes it's people close to you. It could be family, it could be a partner, you know. So what would you say to someone who is going through that?
First of all, if it's coming from yourself, if it's your own self-doubt, or you're feeling negatively toward yourself and you're wondering if you can do this, the first thing that you need to do is go back to the roots of why you wanted to do it to begin with. Kind of like we were talking about a moment ago, find that passion. Don't neglect your passion while you're pursuing making your passion your dream in your business. Go back to the root of that, because genuinely that's something that you're good at, it's something that you love, and it's something that should make you feel good about yourself. So if it's you being negative about yourself, go back to your passion and kind of get down to the roots and rediscover what it is that fuels you to do what you do. When it comes to other people, I would say you need to create your own filter. What does that filter look like? How do you filter out that negativity? For some people, it can be completely stepping away from those influences, giving yourself a break, not interacting, not giving it any attention. For some, it's taking what's negative and transitioning it into a positive. Saying, okay, they're saying I was told often that based on looks, I wouldn't be able to be a belly dancer because it didn't fit a certain image of what belly dancing sometimes represents culturally. And actually, that is the number one thing that has drawn people to the studio and to the art form is there's something a little different about me or something that's not what is expected. And I think people then go, oh, well, okay, so this art form doesn't just reach to one type of person. It can be for me too. And so I take those negative things and I try to turn it into a positive. Because we can't always filter out the negative people. We can try, but there are certain people we have to interact with, even when they're negative. So we try to take the negative and turn it into a positive, and I believe that's how we can overcome some of that.
Yay, I love it. Okay. So do you offer belly dance classes online?
We don't do them online, but we have an online video library of over 300 videos that you can purchase. For instance, if you can't take classes at the studio or you're out of state or you're somewhere else, you can purchase the library, and I have over 300 videos that you can learn at home and practice and try choreographies and different things like that. Otherwise, we have all of our classes here at the studio. We have over 13 belly dance classes a week, and all the belly dance classes are different from each other. So you're getting a really great, diverse program to help learn belly dance.
Awesome. So how can people find you online?
You can find me through my website, which is hypniquestudio.com, and I spell it HIPNIQUE for those that are thinking, wait a minute, how do I spell it? And then, of course, on Facebook, we have a page for the studio, and on Instagram as well.
Awesome. So I will have those in the show notes, so you can definitely check her out. And you're super positive, so I would highly recommend following her in the studio, and I love seeing everything and actually empowering women.
Yes.
I think it's amazing. It's amazing. Just like, I know when I had my studio, just seeing the confidence that the women would have when they've just been able to express themselves with like no judgment. And just like completely let their hair down and be fearless.
Yes.
That is the best feeling ever. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in, and until next time, love and light.
Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.
We have a brand new dance. So everybody clear the dance floor and get on the wall. It's a brand new thing, this. Niajae, yours truly, we and B2 of them. Victoria's Secret, Terror Prodigy.